Head coach Joe Callero, questions? Jenny?
Yeah, Coach, your thoughts when Sean hit the three and there was 5 point whatever seconds left? I mean, were you thinking that was a lot of time?
Oh yeah, I mean I think we've all been in that situation enough where we see that 5 seconds is really eternity. You know, what I was concerned with was, you know, whether they were going to run that. They have a little dribble handoff play that they run typically in a last second scenario where a guy will dribble at him and kind of our play, it's named differently, but you know, it's kind of their go-to, and it's actually a shot they went to at the end of the game last year and missed the shot at the buzzer that we were able to hold to win. So we kind of wanted to keep an eye on that one, and what ended up happening is that guy never ran. He kind of stayed with it, so David stayed in the corner with him, and so when Nunley caught the ball running and kind of had some space to run and float, there it was, and you knew that there was plenty of time to get a shot off and plenty of time to get a good shot off. But if it hits the back of the rim and rolls out, you know, we're talking about a celebration. It's a great college basketball game. An unbelievable atmosphere. Kids played well. Kids played hard. There wasn't any real chippiness. There wasn't any classlessness of the fans. The game was officiated well. It came down to, you know, really I felt 2 minutes turn it. I said, you know, whoever has the ball last might win this. And, you know, a little deja vu and a little you know, concerned that, wow, 5 seconds, you know, if I was surprised that Johnson didn't get the ball in his hands. And, you know, at that point, then you're worried about, can you stop him without fouling him? You know, he's so physical. His top-down drives all night what really killed us. And, again, getting to that free throw line. So with Chris O'Brien out for some foul trouble with 3, I thought that kind of hurt us when he went on a little bit of run. I think Chris is our best physical defender on a top-down drive.
Can you talk about, there was plenty of them, can you talk about the positives you take from this game?
Well, I think our kids did an unbelievable job in game preparation. Sean alluded to it, David alluded to it. You know, it's a team that, you know, there's just not many inside opportunities. You know, you're talking about going over 7-3, 6-10. I mean, you take a look at Sean's stats there. You know, his 4 shots that he made are all the threes. You know, you get around the rim and you know, go stand on the court next to 6'10", 7'3", 6'9", and it brings waves of it. And so we kind of figured that when we beat them last year here, you got to take the first open rhythm shot, you know, and sometimes that's about as good as you're going to get. And fortunately tonight it put us in a good enough position to come down to one more play. So offensively, I think that we did our job. You know, we knocked down some shots, we moved the ball, our assist turnover ratio was positive. It's just defensively, I thought in that 4 to 5 minute stretch where OJ played like the first team all conference MVP. You know, there wasn't X and O's to it. It was a flat, low, take a screen, use a screen if you wanted to, lower his head, create some space, hang out there and make some shots. You know, it's getting guys to make some plays down the stretch. There, Sean did the same thing. Come back, Sean just made a play. I wasn't coaching. Sean, you know, looks at the situation. You know, we had a little set. They kind of went man to man with it. Sean, you know, sees that he got top down, got to create some space. You know, our big concern was making sure you get the shot up with 5 seconds, so that if it hits the rim and Sean's shot didn't go in, we wanted to make sure that we had an offensive rebound opportunity. And so when he saw the clock at that, he knew what he had to do. He had to get the shot up and get it on the rim. Because if that hits the back of the rim, it pops up, there's a scramble, you still got a chance to kick it back out and get another shot up. And so the shot time was perfect because it still gave us enough time to get an offensive board if it didn't go in. Fortunately, it went in, but just enough time to, you know, 1/2 second, maybe too much, and then all of a sudden that shot's not good.
Coach, talk about your defensive strategy coming in. It was, you know, try and limit Orlando Johnson, try to limit James Nunley. It seemed like while you do that and try to get in their face a little bit, a guy like Justin Joyner, leave him alone a little more.
I thought Justin was the real key. They started him for the first time this year, and he's been a little more consistent perimeter shooter for him. And with Brew, we were able to help off a little bit more. Joyner really stepped up and knocked down some shots, and so we lost another person in which we could help on. And so, you know, you can't help off of the bigs, Historic and Samoji. You know, if you step up and hop of them, they just throw it to the rim. And so, you know, you can't help off the post. And then Weiner can shoot the 3. You can't help off him. So you get down to some situations where it's in essence it's one-on-one against one of the best scorers on the West Coast. And so we kind of held the tide for a while and then switched over to our zone. And actually, we got some stops. I think we maybe stopped with 2 out of 3 or 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, where it just wasn't an easy flat play where they just opened it up, flattened it out, and allowed Orlando to go. The zone allowed us a little bit more help opportunities. So it just came down to the very end, And my regrets is tonight was that we had one more timeout. I thought about taking a timeout when they were getting the ball in and maybe switching over to a zone at a full court 22 press at the zone. But I'd just be sitting there kicking myself if we'd gone to that and they found a gap in that and they hit the shot there. Then been dogging myself about that. But the players, I think, deserve tremendous credit. Our guys deserve tremendous credit for a great effort and a great execution of a great college basketball game. If the game comes down to the last possession and it's a clean, hard-fought game, it's great for college basketball. It's great for the Central Coast. And you saw 3,400 people packed into Mott Gym and a viewing audience of who knows how many thousand, what kind of ratings it gets. But I don't think anybody turned the TV off at half. I don't think anybody turned the TV off at 10 minutes ago. I'm sure anybody turned the TV off at 5 minutes ago. Nobody turned the TV off at 5 seconds to go. And so for our program to be involved in that, the first televised game locally, try to build upon that. It helps with recruiting. It helps with the Big West. It helps with college basketball. It helps with the college experience, the students that were out there. Yeah, we want to win the game there, but you also want to make it a great experience for everybody.
Green light on more on threes. Recently, it seems like there's been a lot.
Well, it's game plan. It's game plan. What people are taking away from us, and again, their zone. And the same things we did last year. You look last year, we shot 33 pointers against them. With the way that their style, that they're playing that zone, there's some openings. There's some wide open threes. If you're able to get the ball to the high post and flare it back out, you can get some good clean looks. And that's what told our guys the same thing as last year. You got to take the first good clean look and go after that. So, and then the previous games they were in zones or Pac-Man defenses where they're jamming it and they're looking at you to shoot the basketball. Jamal Johnson stepped up last time. Titch stepped up there. We had Dylan Royer come off the bench. Put him in there because I thought his shot, his quick release was more important. Titch has a slower release, and we thought Dylan could get a shot off quicker and get into his corner spot. And he gave us a big shot there. So I think a lot of guys stepped up, continued to step up, looking for that little opportunity, that little role to pop in there. So I think our offense is really predicated on what you're taking away. And as the season goes on, people are looking at that, saying, okay, Lewis can post up there, Hanson's good at the post. Donahue's kind of a mid-post guy, kind of getting an offensive rebounding. So they're kind of challenging in certain spots, whether even if it's man or zone, as in the other two nights, it was a real sagging man-to-man, and then the other one was sometimes an open gap zone, so you had to take it. So.
Coach, you kind of touched on it there. What do you tell your team after a loss like this? Was this just a good classic basketball game?
I told them to pick their heads up. It was a great college basketball game, and they should be proud of their effort, proud of their execution. We're sick to our stomachs because you lose a game. But if it hits off the back of the rim, we're jumping around the locker room with a complete celebration. And you got a long season. We've got 6 weeks of basketball. We're 4-4 in a conference that has about 5 teams at 500. It seems like, and it's way too early to get yourself in an emotional, head spin and have a pity party. It is what it is. It's a college game. The last guy hit a running shot. And you sit around and you mope about it for 2 or 3 days, and you go to Bakersfield and you lose one, and you're not ready to practice the next week, and you're thinking about what could have, would have, and should have. No, what happened is they made a big shot. We played a great game. They played a great game. It was a great game. We just can't end it up 0.5 seconds away from winning that great game.
And again, from the Big West standpoint, what does this mean? It's such a tight race between 1 and 8. How do you get your team to avoid a skid after a loss?
Oh, I don't think anybody's thinking of a skid. We're looking at a last second loss. You're still kind of in the moment, and it's really about getting back to taking care of their bumps and bruises right now. Get back to practice. Again, kids are so resilient. We'll turn around. We got a game on Saturday, and we got to practice tomorrow at 2:00. We got a scouting report. I'll go spend the next 10, 12 hours watching 2-3 games. Assistant coach has already got some of the game plan footage stuff. So guys are resilient. They're hard-nosed. They've bounced back from every injury this year. They've bounced back from every loss that we've had. They've bounced back from a 5-game road trip against high-major teams. I have zero concern about our guys' character and effort coming back. My concern is about getting our bodies and legs and getting the recovery because a 36-hour turnaround you got and on a road trip, and then keep improving so that we get back with a couple home games next week, and just getting back at that and saying, okay, it is what it is. learn from it, go on, and you just can't sulk over these things. It's just way too long of a season. It hurts, but you got to force yourself. Almost, hey, tomorrow by noon it's over. You know, nobody's gonna sleep well tonight. Coaches, players, subs, managers. It's gonna hurt, but all of us are mature enough to know that college basketball. This is about being a Mustang, and meaning you belly on up there and you go get back to work. People at the game have to go to classes, have to go to work. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do just like everybody else in the community. We're going to go back to work.
One more question, guys.
Was there anything, anybody that you would have liked to have seen more from in this game, or did everybody pretty much be at the level where you were expecting them?
Well, I think we got great contributions from everybody. I think we found a little something out of everybody in some way, and you know, we would always like to, you know, play a perfect game. And I'd like to coach a perfect game. So I'd like to get a little bit more out of myself, and I think every player would like to get a little bit more out of themselves. I mean, if there's no one's played the perfect game where you make every single shot and you stop. You know, we didn't win 70-0, so I think everybody feels like, hey, there's a way that, you know, every competitor will be critical to themselves and look at themselves and say, how could I have done better? And great teams and great coaches and great players, they evaluate themselves much harder than their girlfriend, their parents, the media, or anybody else. You know, they want to say, I want to play better. And it hurts them and it eats at them. So I think every guy will look at that and try to improve. I think every coach will, every assistant coach will, and try to say, hey, could I have made one more better decision here and there? And that's what makes great sport. You know, that's why sports is so enjoyable to follow. Because, you know, true competitive people are just sitting there trying to find another way to get better. And everybody's going to critique themselves a little bit more. I know David's not going to sleep well. He's going to think about one play here, one play there. Sean won't sleep well. Malik won't sleep well. Guys on the bench would have thought that if there's anything, if I didn't get in the game, it's just something I could have done in practice. And that's what we want, creating that culture of what I can do to help this team. And I think we've got a great group of guys who have done that and showed that, competed their rear off every single night, and have done it as a team, has represented this community and the school exceptionally well. And I'm certainly not going to let a one-point game, a one last-second shot, take anything away from our guys' effort, attitude, energy, enthusiasm. You know, guys I love, guys I spend time with at our house with my family, having dinner with, and you know, they're part of my family as anything, and we'll be on their side to the very end of the season.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you very much for attending, guys.